Joining us now, Tom Farley, NYSE Group. I give you at least, I mean, you did a hell of a job. 40%, dude.
Yeah, I take full credit.
Yeah, you did.
I'm at the controls.
You may not have been responsible, but you certainly enjoyed the ride versus some previous years.
And the ride continues.
Was it not a great ride?
The ride continues.
You said that was a lot more fun being CEO of the, really?
Oh, it was a lot more fun. And as much fun as I am having here with you in Davos, I'm jealous I'm not back in New York because it continues this week. We're going to have a record January for capital raise and IPOs, nearly $8 billion, the most ever in the history of the stock exchange. So, I mean, it's five IPOs raising over $700 million. That's never happened in January. And the markets are up again. Yeah, let the good times roll.
So there's not many English language TV stuff over here. So I've been watching Law and Order. So the big thing was about these scammers on Wall Street, not you, but these scammers on Wall Street, and it was all about IPOs.
Only Joe has time in Davos to be watching Law.
No, this is at night. This is at night, and I'm not out, you know, you're rubbing elbows with all the elites. They don't, you know,
I see.
They look at me and it's like they head the other way. No, but so it was all about IPOs. It's been a few years since you would write a TV episode about the hot IPO market, hasn't it? And that is definitely a barometer for business activity.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's back.
And if you were a CEO or entrepreneur, business owner, private equity firm, wouldn't you look at doing an IPO right now? Asset prices are all-time highs, volatility is low and stable. Asset managers are eager to buy new securities because the amount of cash they're managing is increasing. So as long as we continue in this environment, the IPO environment will continue to be strong. And that's a good thing.
Aramco is something you're looking forward to.
I've spent time with the Saudi Arabian delegation here. There's a fairly large delegation, I think, with Vision 2030. A lot of the bankers are looking to meet with the Saudi Arabians, and I've spent time with them. I've spent time with them here in Davos for many, many years.
Help us parse this. I interviewed Amin Nasser on the show, or on CNBC, which we showed the tape yesterday. He said the company will be ready in the second half of 2018 for an IPO. Then he said, but then we have to get the shareholder, meaning the shareholder being the Saudi government, and he didn't indicate that they were necessarily in the second half of 2018, which seemed to me, based on the interview we did with him in Saudi just a couple months ago, a little bit of a different take than where he was before. Do you have a different sense?
I mean, I just look at it. I'm not an advisor of the company. I just look at it objectively. They have a lot going on. I mean, there's a lot of great things going on. Women are going to be able to drive in June for the first time ever. They just screened their first movie. Women can go to sporting events. There's a moderation in their society. If the IPO doesn't happen in 2018, it happens in 2019. So what? But I haven't heard anything.
And what's your sense from investors, though, about how they think about Saudi, which is to say, after that conference, there was such a great amount of goodwill, and then about a week later, all of a sudden, there was this big corruption crackdown with the arrest of Prince Al Walid and others. And that seemed to make some people skittish about what exactly is happening in the country. Some people think of it as a great anti-corruption campaign. Other people look at it and think that maybe he's taking out some of his enemies or something else.
The sense here at Davos, and you guys speak to many of the same people I do, but there's a lot of good things going on in the kingdom. And certainly they're busy, and certainly they're going to have ups and downs, but seems to be trending in the right direction.
So you talk to, obviously, all the leaders of the businesses that are listed on the exchange. Deregulation started things. I mean, things were already percolating before tax reform. That wasn't until the end of the year, and we were already up 30% since the election. Did they mention that? Did they give you concrete examples of why it's easier to do business in the United States now?
I think two things. One, the global CEOs who I've met with, I've been meeting with CEOs all day for the last 3 days. The global CEOs, I've learned something surprising, that tax reform has really changed their thinking, and they're thinking about doing more investment in the United States. In fact, I just came from a meeting from an insurer based outside the United States who said that. And that was new. I had been focused on American companies.
Right. And they said they want to do that because
there's a lesser tax burden from new operations in the U.S.
We don't think about that.
The U.S. more competitive.
I thought
it turns out.
Yeah, there's articles written that suddenly tax reform is hot in Davos. I thought for some countries
for the other countries who say maybe we have to bring our own rates down.
Right. But did you think of that angle, that they're actually thinking of their investments in the U.S. now being more attractive because we've already done it? That's interesting.
Yeah, it was exciting and new. But same with deregulation. The thing I'll mention about deregulation, there's been a goodly amount of deregulation. I won't enumerate them, but just the tone from the top about deregulation, you're seeing you're seeing, instead of new regulations being promulgated, they're not. They're not being written and issued. And so it's not just deregulation, it's a lack of additional regulation that would hamper
and think of the energy sector. With less regulation and $66 oil, I mean, that's going to be there's going to be some IPOs there, I would think, on LNG and other.
Yeah, but selfishly, sure, I'd love more IPOs, but also it's going to drive free enterprise down into the smallest business. You know, the person with one well or the person with an oil field services dream to start a business. It'll make it easier for them, and which, look, ultimately over time will lead to more IPOs. But I'm as focused on that, the small businesses, as on the big businesses here in Davos.
That up and comer. Adina Friedman is here from the NASDAQ. Have you guys passed each other?
We walk on the other side. You do walk on the other side of the street.
Yeah, it's ugly.
Do this.
Yeah, is it?
Yeah,
you're frenemies.
Yeah, we're frenemies. We're frenemies. Look, they serve a role in the capital markets. We serve a role in the capital markets. We each kind of have our niche, and yeah.
Competition's tough for Uber, right? Everybody for Uber, what might eventually.
For an IPO?
Yeah.
You know, we do well in the large IPOs. In fact, today is the 37th straight large IPO in the United States to pick the New York Stock Exchange. In 5 years, $700 million greater IPOs, 37 in a row. So we do well there, but yeah, the competition will be intense.
Is everybody pushing for? I mean, Dara's here. By the way, Travis Kalanick is here as well, which is his own.
Love that. That's like the
strangest bedfellows.
Yeah, I mean, I'll repeat what I've heard publicly. As Dara said, and they will IPO, and it's something that likely will happen 2019. Yeah.
So I hope you're on that.
Yeah, we're not rushing. We're 225 years old. So if they IPO now, terrific. If it's 2019, that's fine too.
The NASDAQ does house the preeminent show on Squawk Box, though. Yeah, I guess Squawk Box comes on CNBC.
Yeah, I tend to watch the 5 hours of live programming during the day that are filmed at 11 Wall.
So
I really like that.
What is that at the New York side? At the New York side.
Yeah, the New York Stock Exchange.
All right, so you've got something going on there. Okay.
Yeah.
Tom, great to see you.
It's great to be with you. Thank you so much, guys.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.